The case against Bitcoin. Why governments are cracking down on crypto. Countries including Turkey, Nigeria and Vietnam have restricted or banned cryptocurrencies. Will the US be next? Enigiaru Osasanaga's life took a shocking turn last October. Osasanaga had recently been hired for a job in Lagos and needed a place to stay before completing his relocation. The most straightforward solution appeared to be an Airbnb apartment. Only one problem. Capital controls imposed by the Nigerian government limited Osasanaga's debit card spending to the equivalent of $100 per month. I'd have to wait until the next month or find a way to get several people to give me their cards so I could book the apartment with multiple cards, Osasanaga says. Then a close friend came up with a brilliant idea. Why not pay in Bitcoin? Nigeria is not alone in its anti-cryptocurrency stance. Turkey and Ghana have joined Bolivia, Nepal, Algeria, Vietnam, and Egypt in banning or severely restricting the use of cryptocurrencies this year. India may soon follow suit, drafting legislation aimed at bringing the crypto market to a halt later this year. Even in Western economies, attitudes have shifted significantly. Christine Lagarde, the head of the European Central Bank, described Bitcoin as a highly speculative asset, linked to money laundering in January. Her remarks were echoed by U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who testified that cryptocurrency transactions were primarily used for illicit financing. While a ban on cryptocurrency in the US or the EU does not appear to be on the horizon, some investors believe its days are numbered. They argue that cryptocurrencies pose a clear and present danger to central banks' authority over the money supply in their respective jurisdictions. That threat may become intolerable if trading volumes rise at the rate predicted by cryptocurrency proponents. In April, prominent investor Ray Dalio stated, "Every country treasures its monopoly on controlling the supply and demand of currencies. They don't want other funds to operate or compete with them because things can spiral out of control." It was successful. Soon after, Osasanaga began using cryptocurrency to pay for all of his temporary housing. His new strategy even netted him a small profit over the holidays, when he discovered that $200 worth of Naira had doubled in value after being deposited in his wallet. After that, he says, "I began using cryptocurrency for transactions, receiving payments, and providing services." Osasanaga wasn't the only one. In the midst of the pandemic's economic chaos, millions of his countrymen had turned to cryptocurrency as a safe haven against the Naira's depreciation. In February, the Nigerian government outright banned the banking sector from facilitating cryptocurrency transactions in order to prevent the currency from depreciating further. Crypto enthusiasts like Osasanaga now have to hide their Bitcoin usage as much as possible. He claims that if there's any indication that a transaction was used to buy cryptocurrency, the banks will immediately freeze your account. Is it better to ban Bitcoin or not? Governments have begun to take action against cryptocurrencies, according to Danny O'Brien, director of the Electronic Frontiers Foundation. "I guess I'm surprised it took so long," he says, if anything. According to O'Brien, there are two reasons why this is happening now. The first is the rise in crypto scams, which increased by 40% in 2020 and are expected to rise by 75% this year, and their links to illicit finance. Theoretically, limiting cryptocurrency mining and use should solve the problem. Bans, on the other hand, do little to deter criminals in practice. Scammers will scam, and banning cryptocurrencies simply creates a legal on-ramp for these digital assets in a particular jurisdiction, according to O'Brien. And I believe that as a result, more people will be led down the garden path. The threat cryptocurrency poses to government-directed monetary policy, according to O'Brien, is the second reason for its prohibition. While Bitcoin or Ethereum may provide citizens with a useful hedge against a falling national currency, cryptocurrencies limit central banks' ability to use monetary policy to address the underlying problem, as well as their influence over investment, spending, and inflation in their jurisdictions. Turkey's ban on crypto transactions, as well as India's potential restrictions, cited both of these reasons. There is little evidence that such measures are effective. For starters, the decentralized nature of cryptocurrencies makes enforcing a ban technically difficult. According to O'Brien, doing so would necessitate a level of internet control that few people would tolerate. If you ban every Indian cryptocurrency company, people will only use cryptocurrencies outside of India, He explains, because the nature of these digital systems is that they don't require you to be physically close to them. To avoid this, you'll need to create a system that monitors all of the traffic entering and exiting India. And, in order to do so, you're talking about erecting a system akin to the Great Firewall. And if you do that, you'll be turning India's digital world into a model similar to China's. The threat of prosecution, rather than blocking cryptocurrencies on a technical level, may deter their use. However, this will only work if there is a compelling alternative, according to O'Brien, who sees parallels between their use and early 2000s digital piracy. It wasn't draconian laws that attempted to ban the MP3 player, or putting file-sharing teenagers in jail, that actually ended up solving a lot of the problems that people were worried about in the case of stolen music online, says O'Brien. It was the rise of streaming services, says the author. There are few appealing alternatives for citizens whose national currencies are depreciating. Why do so many governments persist with crypto bans in the face of the impossibility of persuading citizens to follow them? It's partly due to their belief that Bitcoin is just a conduit for scams and money laundering, which reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of how cryptocurrencies work and their potential as financial instruments, according to O'Brien. There's also a desire among some to expand their control over their citizens' digital lives. What's interesting about Turkey and India is that we have administrations that are teetering on the edge of maintaining democratic institutions while also falling into a much more authoritarian model, says O'Brien, who believes that severe crypto restrictions should be viewed in the context of similar attacks on encryption and public dissent. And the sad truth is, I believe you only consider blanket bans when the authoritarian model appears to be within reach. While cryptocurrencies are being stifled in some developing economies, they are thriving in the West. According to Goldman Sachs, demand for Bitcoin among institutional investors is on the rise, while billionaires promote joke coins on popular sketch comedy shows. Nonetheless, some believe that cryptocurrencies' days in the developed world are numbered as well. One factor is the environmental cost of mining Bitcoin, which Tesla recently cited as one of the reasons for its decision to stop accepting Bitcoin as payment, although how many carbon emissions mining generates remains disputed. The emergence of central bank digital currencies, on the other hand, poses a more immediate threat: CBDCs. These provide citizens with assurance that their digital money is backed by a national institution and promise to give governments near total control over monetary policy. According to a survey conducted in April, 86% of the world's central banks are investigating the potential of CBDCs. The Bank of England is looking into the possibility of a Britcoin, while the United States is quietly testing the waters for its own e-dollar. Sweden is experimenting with its own e-krona, and China is conducting a pilot of its own e-yuan involving 500,000 citizens. Meanwhile, the Bahamas has already launched its own digital currency.